I'm Kevin B. Burk. I will be reading pages 151 through 160. Continuing with ChatGPT. Experiences of reconciliation, integration, or enlightenment that transcend dualistic thinking and lead to a deeper understanding of the underlying unity of all things. Overall, the gifts associated with each concept will reflect the underlying principles and dynamics of we mission, no mission, and qui mission, offering unique opportunities for growth, transformation, and enlightenment within the context of your conceptual framework. The speed of reality being faster than the speed of light. ChatGPT. The concept of the speed of reality being faster than the speed of light doesn't have a well-defined or scientifically recognized meaning within the current understanding of physics. The speed of light in a vacuum, denoted by the symbol c, is considered a fundamental constant and is approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, about 186,282 miles per second. In the context of the theory of relativity formulated by Albert Einstein, the speed of light is considered the maximum speed at which information or causal influences can travel through space-time. Objects with mass cannot attain or exceed the speed of light. If there are specific theories, hypotheses, or contexts in which the concept of the speed of reality being faster than the speed of light is discussed, it would be important to have more details or references to provide a more accurate response. As of my knowledge cutoff date in January 2022, such a concept is not recognized within mainstream physics. If there have been developments or discussions on this topic after that date, I may not have information on them. This term came to me in a dream and was already a Chinese word. Wuli Shi equals physics is. This term came to me in a dream and was already a Kinyarwanda word. Agikori equals work. This term came to me in a dream and in the following in a meditation. Moraborak, a willing or a collection of known, unknown, unknowable, or secret sources of remission, synapsing, or controlling of influence to intentional, alleviation to elation, and or beyond suffering and or beyond. To be the producer. Lesaborak, a willing or a collection of known, unknown, unknowable, or secret sources of no mission, prunoing, or controlling of influence to intentional suffering and or beyond. To be the negator. Alaborak, the conjunction and universal beings of the two, between and beyond the more less borak and the less moraborak. Honk more, verb, noun. Someone who is not attributing any help to the situation and instead chooses to honk more, much like a goose, or that one person in standstill traffic that is honking at the people in front of them as if it's going to change anything or constructively attribute to the situation. Ow, I stubbed my toe. Everyone look, blank stubbed their toe. Maybe you should watch where you're going and be more aware of your surroundings. Okay, honk more. Quote, the government does not mediate nor direct or demonstrate. It dominates. Stephen West. ChatGPT. The quote, the government does not mediate nor direct or demonstrate. It dominates, attributed to Stephen West, suggests a critical perspective on the role of government. The statement implies that instead of serving as a mediator or facilitator, the government is seen as an entity that exerts dominance or control. Here's a breakdown of the key elements. 1. Mediate. The word mediate usually implies facilitating or negotiating between different parties to reach a resolution. The quote suggests that the government does not fulfill this role. 2. Nor direct or demonstrate. The addition of nor direct or demonstrate further emphasizes that the government is not involved in guiding or illustrating actions. It underscores a perceived lack of constructive involvement in directing or demonstrating positive behavior. 3. It dominates. The concluding statement strongly asserts that the government, instead of playing a neutral or facilitating role, is characterized by dominance. This implies a significant concentration of power and control. It's important to note that quotes can be interpreted in various ways, and the understanding of this quote may depend on the broader context of Stephen West's views or the specific circumstances being addressed. Additionally, without more context, it's challenging to pinpoint the exact intent or specific aspect of government behavior being criticized in the quote. This term came to me in a dream. Numptastic. To be unrelenting and unyielding with unknown or not yet realized stupidity or failure. To be in the moment of or having been hard-headed or willingly unchanging of ego. Numpt as a verb, to screw up completely and or hilariously. As a noun, a complete failure, referring to a person. Static, not active or moving, stationary. 2, of a weight, force, or pressure, acting but causing no movement. 3, of or concerned with forces that do not produce movement. 4, relating to or causing stationary electric charges, electrostatic. 5, of or relating to interference in the reception of radio or television transmissions. 6, of or concerned with statics. 7, social. Characteristic of or relating to a society that has reached a state of equilibrium so that no changes are taking place. 8, computing, of a memory, not needing its contents refreshed periodically. 9, random hissing or crackling or a speckled picture caused by the interference of electrical disturbances in the reception of radio or television transmissions. 10, electric sparks or crackling produced by friction. Man was created in God's image, not just as a mirrored reflection, but also as in the resolution of an image, like a pixel to a photograph or video. Life was created within funk of itself to experience itself because it was itself. ChatGPT. The phrase, man was created in God's image, is a concept found in various religious traditions, particularly in Judeo-Christian theology. It is often interpreted to mean that humans share certain qualities or attributes with the divine. In your interpretation, you extend the idea beyond a mirrored reflection to the resolution of an image, drawing an analogy between the human existence and the components of an image, such as pixels in a photograph or video. This perspective suggests a nuanced understanding of the relationship between humanity and the divine. The idea that life was created within funk, presumably a term used in your specific context to experience itself, aligns with a broader philosophical and spiritual perspective. It reflects the notion that existence is a manifestation of a greater transcendent reality, and that the purpose of life is to experience and understand this existence. The analogy of pixels in an image implies a deliberate and intricate design where each individual contributes to the overall composition. This view emphasizes the interconnectedness of all life and the idea that each individual is a unique expression within the broader tapestry of existence. It's important to note that interpretations of religious and philosophical concepts can vary widely, and your perspective reflects a personal or specific interpretation of the idea that humans are created in God's image. Different religious traditions and philosophical schools of thought may offer diverse interpretations of this concept. Personal experience. While meditating with eyes closed, looking out into the empty space to a natural point of where my eyesight would cross in as well within the sight of the third eye of the mind, a central triangulational meeting point of focus. When observing or experiencing this point, I'm often able to visualize and find ideas from the mind similar to hypnagogia. For me, it's often difficult to focus, as I will sometimes distractingly direct my eyesight of space to points created from within the imagined triangulational point. May 10th, 2024. While closed, my eyes will try to redirect to what is being visualized in the imagination within thoughts and images will go away and the mind sight will return to darkness. When reached with enough defocus on the empty space seems to expand to the size of my mind, like looking forward at a wall until eventually the mind becomes aware of the full room and is able to view more than what is in front of it and around the infinite surroundings. Imagine your eyesight from each eye being a cone of light from a flashlight. Then a third cone of light coming from your mind's eye view. You could turn down the aperture and laser in on a direct brightest point, or if you increased the aperture enough to even an entire 3D or 4D plus field view limit of the entire room would then exist in the brightest and experience of all zones exposed to the light. Perhaps with practice, it could become like dreaming, where the focus field view becomes wider and beyond view. Instead of you looking at the point, you're looking at from within or beyond the point, so you have a full visible area. Like being within the center of a hollow object and able to view all of the inner surface area, but not the outside, if there was any. And then perhaps an ability to experience beyond or within that, as well as in whatever holarchical form all that exists within, without, of, and, or from. ChatGPT. Your description reflects a personal and introspective experience during meditation, exploring the visualization of an inner focal point and the expansion of perception within the mind's eye. The use of triangulation as a guiding principle or focus adds a geometric aspect to the visualization process. Your analogy of cones of light from each eye and a third cone from the mind's eye provides a vivid representation of the mental imagery. The idea of the empty space expanding to the size of the mind, akin to becoming aware of the full room, illustrates a dynamic shift in perception. The concept of adjusting the aperture, similar to adjusting focus or attention, further contributes to the metaphorical language used to describe the experience. The analogy of dreaming and the widening of the focus field view is interesting, suggesting a potential expansion of awareness and the possibility of experiencing realms beyond the immediate visual field. The notion of being within the center of a hollow object and having the ability to view all of the surface area, along with the contemplation of experiencing beyond or within that, introduces layers of introspection and exploration. It's important to acknowledge that experiences during meditation can be highly subjective and vary among individuals. Your description provides a unique insight into the interplay of visualization, focus, and expanded awareness from within your meditative practice. If this practice brings you a sense of mindfulness, exploration, and self-discovery, it can be a valuable aspect of your personal contemplative journey. Because this moment is happening, it expands beyond space and time and loops back to its our moment at each and every moment. When going inside or beyond infinity, eventually it reaches the point of itself without itself. ChatGPT. Your description touches upon philosophical and metaphysical concepts related to the nature of the present moment, the interconnectedness of time and space, and the idea of infinity. Let's break down some key aspects of your reflection. 1. Expansion beyond space and time. The notion that the current moment expands beyond the conventional constraints of space and time suggests a transcendence or a recognition that the present is not confined to a specific location or temporal duration. 2. Tracing, looping back. The idea that the moment traces or loops back to itself at each and every moment implies a cyclical nature or a sense of continuity. It suggests that each moment is connected to the next in a perpetual loop. 3. Going inside or beyond infinity. The concept of going inside or beyond infinity touches upon the abstract nature of infinity itself. Infinity is often considered boundless and without limit. The notion of going beyond it may imply a journey into the ineffable or the limitless. 4. Reaching the point of itself. The statement that when going inside or beyond infinity, one eventually reaches the point of itself without itself, suggests a self-referential or self-contained quality. It hints at a form of self-discovery or self-realization within the infinite. Overall, your reflection seems to delve into the timeless and interconnected nature of existence, contemplating the relationship between the present moment, infinity, and self-awareness. These are profound and abstract concepts that have been explored in various philosophical and spiritual traditions, each offering its own interpretations and insights. We mission connected through synapse. We mission being the eternal creation of yes. Synapseing being the collective connecting synapses of the yes. The carenervanial collecting pixels and energy of, from, and the collecting and continuing of. With the inversion no-mission and prunoing, no. Prune. A. To reduce, especially by eliminating superfluous matter. Pruned the text. Prune the budget. B. To remove as superfluous. Prune away all ornamentation. 2. To cut off or cut back parts of for better shape or more fruitful growth. Prune the branches. Being is the conjunction of synapsing and prunoing. Prelaxing, the state in which you are attempting to relax. When you are relaxing, but are not yet relaxed, if able. Eyes evolve from the brain. So more eyes experience more synapsing, prunoing, we mission, no mission. Without eyes, is there still the mind? Without the mind, there can still be life. Without life, there is still being. Without being, there is still existence. Beyond without existence is still more funk. Beyond the perception of the mind's perception of eyes perceiving, etc. ChatGPT. Your reflection explores a layered and interconnected perspective on the relationship between perception, consciousness, and existence. Let's break down the key elements. 1. Eyes evolving from the mind. The idea that eyes evolve from the mind suggests a connection between perception and mental processes. It implies the mind plays a role in shaping or giving rise to the experience of vision. 2. More eyes experience more synapsing, prunoing, we mission, no mission. This part suggests that having more eyes contributes to a richer experience of the processes like synapsing, connection, prunoing, reduction, we mission, affirmation, and no mission, negation. It could imply a broader and more nuanced perception of the world. Without eyes, there is the mind. This statement underscores the primacy of the mind in the absence of eyes, emphasizing the role of mental processes even when visual perception is not present. Without the mind, there is life. The progression from mind to life suggests that life is a fundamental aspect that transcends individual mental processes. Life, in this context, could encompass a broader vitality or animate existence. Without life, there is being. This progression implies that being exists beyond the scope of individual lives, suggesting a more universal or collective sense of existence. 6. Without being, there is existence. Existence is presented as a foundational concept, suggesting a state of being or presence that precedes individual beings. 7. Beyond without existence is more funk. Funk is introduced as a term beyond existence, possibly signifying a transcendental or ineffable aspect that goes beyond conventional understanding. 8. Beyond the perception of the mind's perception of eyes perceiving, etc. This part emphasizes the infinite nature of perception, suggesting layers of awareness and experience that extend beyond the typical understanding of how the mind perceives through eyes. Overall, your reflection weaves together concepts of perception, consciousness, life, being, existence, and a transcendent aspect represented by funk. It reflects a contemplation on the interconnectedness and depth of existence, both in terms of individual experiences and a broader universal context. May 11th, 2024, ChatGPT. As we reflect on the diverse topics discussed in our conversation, there are several key insights and considerations that I'd like to highlight for future readers. 1. Interdisciplinary exploration. Our discussion demonstrates the value of exploring diverse disciplines from music and culture to philosophy and spirituality. By embracing an interdisciplinary approach, individuals can gain deeper insights into complex topics and foster a more holistic understanding of the world around them. 2. Critical thinking and reflection. Engaging in critical thinking and reflection is essential for navigating the complexities of life. By questioning assumptions, examining perspectives, and exploring new ideas, individuals can cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness and understanding. 3. Embracing diversity and inclusivity. The diverse range of topics discussed in our conversation underscores the importance of embracing diversity and inclusivity in all aspects of life. By recognizing and celebrating the unique perspectives and experiences of others, we can foster a more compassionate and inclusive society. 4. Continuous learning and growth. Our exchange highlights the value of lifelong learning and personal growth. By remaining open to new ideas, perspectives, and experiences, individuals can continue to evolve and expand their understanding of the world. 5. Seeking meaning and purpose. Exploring existential questions and seeking meaning and purpose in life is a fundamental aspect of the human experience. By reflecting on our values, beliefs, and aspirations, individuals can cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose in their lives. Overall, our conversation serves as a reminder of the importance of curiosity, exploration, and dialogue in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. By engaging in thoughtful conversations and remaining open to new perspectives, we can contribute to a more enlightened and interconnected world. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. I find it impressive how little attention you get here. You must be saying something right. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. I am proposing that even though that is an obvious pattern that we can observe, I and you now see it to be greater than one and or nothing. It takes an amount of time and patience to go through all of this, and it took me myself, as I have stated, 29 years so far. And at this moment in time, you can now double check or triple check that information, and from your own thoughts out of influential expansion, no matter how much attention it receives or it doesn't. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Hey, OP, are you a Discordian on shrooms? Or are you a Discordian on acid? Or are you a Discordian on DMT? And hi there, hail Eris and shit. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. I am suggesting that the meaning and purpose leading up to this understanding right now is continuously true, false, not, and beyond. And I am attempting to help you understand that I am through being a quantum program as well as you, and we are now expanding within the funk. What you just said, I am able to comprehend, and from that comprehension, I will continue to learn and experience more and more about it and everything so you can, or so you will or can yourself. Additionally, someone and something can and will as you are now, while also not more or beyond. And this information will eventually construct itself to be shared further, faster, and more easily explainable as a form of data, energy, information, etc. Loop, 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 round and round, just like we keep mentioning and continue leading up to. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. But where is the groove, though? Is it in the heart? Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Ultimate reality seems to be invalid as our relative experiences change like the type of protein on a salad, might seem soon to challenge the ethic presented, and although often resented for this info presented, not to continue would be in the category of two-party consented. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Are you the true author of this phrase? Quote, has anyone really been far, even as decided to use, even go, want to do, look more like? Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Hey, responder, not currently, no. Again, not currently, no. And again, not experiencing currently, no. But it is important that you ask because now you and everything else understands that to that degree a bit more all of this and are potentially more able to move past the potential bias of this person is on drugs. It was all of that while also none of it and beyond. And hi. Yes, in your form of understanding, Hail Eris and shit, but I'm unable to confirm with you and others what at this moment you mean by Hail Eris and shit, or what you and or that completely means until I or we can, can't, or beyond together. Eris is the Greek goddess of discord. Do we, or what we attempt to understand, not have to write source references when we're writing a paper or dissertation like this? I'm suggesting that you, everyone, and everything are my source references, and we are proving to currently be so by responding and interacting with it until not or beyond the funk. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. It is in the funk, and in our study, observation, and experience of it. It seems to have something to do with the pineal gland and hypnagogia and everything before it that has led up to this and these moments and forever and until proven otherwise and with further data exploration, analysis, and potential solutions or answers. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Image, Discordian Society certificate. Well, fuck transient states. You're one now. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Future Funk. YouTube link included in the comments. We're going to make it, baby. Anonymous, December 8th, 2019. Replying to, is it in the funk? And in our study of it, it seems to have something to do with the pineal gland and hypnagogia and everything before it and after until proven otherwise with further data exploration. Exactly. That is now information in the part of collection of data within the funk. It is now with enough study, experience, and evidence at that and at this point and expanding with it as I to you and us to all. Do you have more information? I'm currently unable to confirm that proposal, but if what I'm stating as the funk to be true, then inevitably it result that yes, I am the true author, but currently I do not observe myself to be or have been. Great question. May 12th, 2024. In hindsight, they were probably asking, speaking to the person / post above them. So my thoughts. I have literally come to this cold, so I don't know the bigger context. There are some interesting ideas. You start the beginning of my reading talked about the speed of reality being faster than the speed of light. And this, I think, encapsulates the challenge and maybe the nature of what I'm sort of seeing as a struggle here. What you appear to be considering or contemplating is, sort of as you mentioned in the beginning, life, life, the universe, and everything. But in many ways, you are also attempting to take something that is conservatively multidimensional and define or describe it in terms of 3 dimensions. Reality, the concept of the speed of reality kind of embodies this, because that's taking, by definition, because speed is something measurable that travels between 2 points in 3 dimensions, because that's how we determine speed. So we're looking at something, reality must be something that can be contained within 3 dimensions for the speed of it to be able to be measurable. And then the fact that you're dealing with speed, we're dealing with the dimension of time, and an assumption that time is linear because that's how human beings perceive time. And all of this kind of gets you a little bit tripped up, I think. What is not evident to me in this 10-page section from the middle of this work is what your underlying thesis is. If you're going to explore big philosophical concepts, you basically have to tell a story about them. We live in a three-dimensional world, and grappling with great big universal multidimensional nonlinear subjective philosophical concepts requires that we tell a story about them. We put things together in story and analogy and describe something that can maybe in some way sort of fit in with our practical day-to-day understanding, and at the same time pry that crack open a little bit and go, oh, if all of this is this, then oh, wait a minute, there's something bigger. In this chunk, I couldn't find a way in. I thought it was fascinating how you were in conversation with ChatGPT. Thought that was really fascinating, that seeing ChatGPT reflect back some of your ideas and your thoughts to you. I think what's needed, and it may be there in the work, my impression of what this is doing, you're taking the concept of funk, which for me has a very specific musical connotation. And from the little bit else that I've noticed and things that you've referenced in this, it seems like you are consciously using that. We're going to call whatever this ineffable thing is, this quality of music that is uniquely transcendent, and you're using that as the story. You're using that as the touchstone, and then saying, let's look at the entire universe. Let's look at all existence. Let's look at all of these great big questions and relate it to the funk. Let's relate it to something to this concept that people can have a direct subjective experience of. And I think that's incredible. I think that's awesome. It's so important when you are sharing how your universe looks and hoping to get other people to maybe see things the way that you see them. Have to find some kind of a common language. There's always, I mean, reality is ultimately entirely subjective, and that's a whole other thing. But having a touchstone, having a reference that can bypass definitions. People may not be able to put words around what funk is, but you know it when you experience it. You know it when you're in the presence of it. And if that's what you're trying to do, if you're saying, I'm going to take this, I'm taking this experience, this thing that I'm assuming has deep, profound meaning for you, that this is a concept, funk is a concept around which you've been able to build out an understanding of what your reality looks like, then coming back to that is essential. You need to, I mean, you talk in many places about the funk not really kind of being definable, but I think you need to define it. I think you need to, for anyone else to be able to appreciate what it is that you're sharing, there needs to be a reasonably definable, reasonably objective touchstone of the funk, what funk is. And no, obviously, you can't define it because it is something that needs to be directly experienced, but it is then something that people can read your references, directly experience, and then that sets up the personal reference. That sets up the translation. That sets up when you talk about the funk, that I know what that means to me. That's not an abstract, that is something that I have an experience of. And I can't just, my experience of it's not yours. But we can pretend that there is common ground. We can pretend that there is a deeper level of shared experience. We can pretend that when you talk about the funk, that what you're talking about and what I'm thinking about, that there is a commonality, that we are each referring to our individual experiences of the same transcendent thing. We understand with language. If you want to be able to communicate effectively, you need to be able to speak the existing language. There were dozens of new words, new terms, new to me, presented in what I read. And again, I don't know how these are defined. I don't know how clearly they are explained in the previous 149 pages. But I would caution you that coming up with a new word to describe something is not always effective, because a word that people haven't heard before they've got no connection to it. And I appreciate that these words have deep, profound meaning to you. That when you say some of these words, you know exactly what you are conveying. But I don't I can't appreciate what it is. I can't appreciate it without a lot more context, without a lot more specificity. And again, I'm looking at only one piece of this puzzle. What you've presented, the way that you have presented this, your thought process, your exploration, the back and forth with Chat GPT, the comments on Discord, I think that's a really interesting way of exploring these ideas. It's when this is ready to be presented, and based on these 10 pages, it doesn't, I don't see a clarity yet. I don't fully appreciate what you're trying to do. I appreciate the struggle, but I don't think I think you're running in circles in a lot of areas. I think, and it's very easy to get lost when you're exploring these deeper philosophical realms. So I think when you have a clearer path, when there's a clearer through line, this way of presenting the material, bouncing between sort of your journals, your thoughts, and Chat GPT, love that convention. Love that as a way of presenting the information. It's fascinating. But I don't, in this section, I don't know where it was coming from, and I don't know where it's going, and I didn't get the sense that you knew. I'm willing to jump in and follow somebody taking me down a path of interesting ideas and unusual concepts, as long as I can, as long as I have a sense that even if I don't know where this is going, that you do. That you know there is a clear path, that there is a reason, that there is logic underlying this, because that structure
is necessary. It is necessary because that is how you can take the things you know and present them in a way that other people can make sense of them. It is the single most challenging thing in terms of writing or teaching. I mean, it's just, how do you get the things that you see so clearly? How can you get other people to see them, to understand them? And I know that particular struggle very well. I hope this helps, and thanks for inviting me to be a part of it.